like this are a political tool. And
no, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence, and I'm asking you. You know, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert, and you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant? That's a yes or no question. It really is, I think.
I think you're trying to reduce the complexity of a lot.
I'm not. I'm trying to get, it's not complex. I'm trying to get to an answer, and I'm trying to test, frankly, your veracity as a medical professional and as a scientist. Can men get pregnant?
I think you're also conflating
This is
male
extraordinary.
female with
No, I'm not conflating male and female. They're two different things. There's biological men and there's biological women. And I want to know, can men get pregnant?
What you were talking about is biological.
You're not going to answer my question.
Biological males.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
Again, I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized and push.
I'm not trying to be polarizing. I'm trying to ask, I think it is extraordinary that we are here in a hearing about science and about women. And for the record, it's women who get pregnant, not men. We are here about the safety of women and science that shows that this abortion drug causes adverse health events in 11% of cases. That's 22 times greater than the FDA label, another fact you haven't acknowledged. And yet you won't even acknowledge the basic reality that biological men don't get pregnant. There's a difference between biological men and biological women. I don't know how we can take you seriously and your claims to be a person of science if you won't level with this on this basic issue. I thought we were past all of this, frankly. I can't believe we're still here talking about
it. Richie, your thoughts? Floor is yours.
All right. And thank you for having me, BMU, and being so patient with me fumbling with my equipment. But so let's get into it. Is this for real? Like, is this a real setting in a real court? Not no AI generated performance. These are real people. And what are her credentials again? Like, I'm just.
She's a doctor.
So this for real.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And well, we all know in a court of law, there's no gray areas. I mean, when someone asks you a question, a direct question, how is she allowed to just not, like, how's she playing with courts, let alone God like that? Like, I don't care if you believe in nothing. How are you going to play with the court system and insult them when they ask you a question? Can a man be impregnated? It's a yes or no question. So I'm confused with why that answer wouldn't just be given. Like, what is she choking on? It's like she's choking on the lie that she knows she can't say, because then now you're lying in a court of law, and then you're going to be, it's perjury, and you're going to be discredited altogether. So is this where we're at, instead of, telling the truth about biology and science that you just can't manipulate? Is pride that bad in some people, and what they're trying to get their point across, that they're willing to choke on their own credibility and credentials in a court of law? Because it's yes or no. No. A man can't get pregnant. Like, that's why is she playing like that? Like, Aries, help me out, sister. Like, what are we doing? It's nothing to even be. It's yes or no. The guy, I missed his name, but he was being very patient with her. Mm-hmm. She should have been thrown out the courtroom. You want to come in here and play, and like you don't know no simple questions that a elementary child that took physical science and understand XX, XY chromosome, like things that simple and basic. This wasn't a NASA experiment. So I don't get why she's trying to play like that. It's yes or no.
Right.
So what is she holding back? I want to see what I'm missing.
Anissa, you want to add to that? What do you think she's holding back?
I think she said that she was a doctor and she takes care of all kinds of patients. And I think that she's trying to be sensitive to those patients that believe, even though they are not biological females, they believe in their brain some kind of way that if they go through this process and they take these hormones and they do all of these surgeries or whatever, that makes them a woman. And I think because she treats those type of patients, doctors, the number one rule of a doctor is, do no harm. So if you're treating those type of patients, you want to, they tend to want to believe, I guess, they know what the truth is, but that's their patient. You're trying to talk to your patient and be there for your patient and feel your patient, and they get all caught up in that twisted reality that some patients have, and they just don't want to come out and say, you can go through all of this, but this does not make you a biological woman, because in their mind and their psyche, they think that makes them a woman. But we know the same part of America. We know the same part of the world. We know that surgery and hormones and taking pills and things of that is not what makes you a woman. You are born a woman, and you are born with all of the equipment that you're supposed to have at birth that God has given you.
All right, so if you're a professional in your professional field, like you said, do no harm, along with that long oath that doctors take, lawyers take, many professions take this oath, and that they're going to pretty much work in the best interest of that field that they're in. Mm-hmm. If she is going to stand up in front of the World Wide Web and globally play with science and medicine and biology and think she can manipulate that in a court of law, then she should have her medical license revoked. She's shown herself she can't be a doctor. You can't be trusted, because you can have empathy towards a person feeling and wanting to be a certain way, but science is science, you guys. Biology is biology. When I went, one of my last appointments I went in on a question never answered. Been going 47 years to the doctor. And now they've included on the question before they start, you get into the little exam room. One of the questions is, how do you identify? What is it you identify it? And I looked at the nurse girl like, are you for real? Like, wait, when do y'all start asking that? And she said, well, we have to ask our patients now. It's been written in some type of mandate with the doctors that you ask the patient before you treat them what they identify it. And I was like, well, they sounded like Kermit the Frog. So can you put a frog? Like, I was being really jokey with her, because I'm like, I'm not. Are you serious? She's like, you really have to answer this. I have to put an answer. Why are we doing this? You can't examine me as a frog or an animal, or even if I had said a different sex. You're coming in here to treat me as a female, a woman born, and that's nothing we can undo. So how do I just, like, what's going on here? So that is something going on, that you can identify what you want to, but science and how you have to be treated and even acknowledged in things, you can't manipulate that. So why is she struggling with just saying, according to science and biology, no, a man cannot be pregnant, and still have empathy towards her patients who choose to transition to an alternative state? Why can't she do both and be honest about it?
I don't know, but I got more for you. I got more for you, because it doesn't only go to our doctors; it also goes to the leaders of in our country as well. I'm going to fly you guys over here to just this. I can't wait till y'all see this, especially you, Odessa, because I know these. I'm telling you, the Democratic Party is losing fire. What person would you want to put in office in the Democratic Party if they can't tell you what a woman is, or they can't tell you if a man can get pregnant? That's the question. But I'm gonna play this, and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
It is the first day of Women's History Month.
What is a woman stumps Democrats. They can't answer the question.
We're supposed to be the party of women. They can't define a woman.
March is Women's History Month. Can you define what a woman is?
In honor of Women's History Month, will you define to me what a woman is?
Women's History Month is next month. How would you define what a woman is?
I don't understand what you mean.
Congressman, how would you define a woman?
Can you define what a woman is?
It's a more complicated question than one might know.
Can you define what a woman is?
So, yeah.
March is Women's History Month. Can you define what a woman is? Can you define what a woman is? Define what a woman is?
Do you get minimum wage at least?
March is Women's History Month. Can you define what a woman is?
You tell me what a woman is. In honor of Women's History Month, can you tell me what a woman is?
Women's History Month is in March. How would you define a woman? Could you define what a woman is?
Congresswoman, can you tell me what a woman is in honor of Women's History Month?
Welcome to the show, Art Payne in the building tonight. What's going on, Art Payne? How you doing, man? I'm gonna get this super chat out the way first. $5 from Prince Antoine. He said the reason why there's pushback against transgenders, they're trying to rewrite the narrative in regards to gender. Thank you so much, man, for that $5 super chat. Ladies, we'll start with you first and we go to Art Payne. The Democrats, you just saw 12, 13, 15 of them. None of them can define what a woman is. What are your thoughts? This is the Democratic Party. Anissa, we start with you first. What are your thoughts when you seeing all these Democrats in this video saying they don't know what a woman is? They can't define a woman.
I have a problem with any person, Democrat, Republican, not, independent, whatever. Anybody that has a problem with reality and, like we just said, what it truly is, what biology is, what creation is. Anyone that cannot accept that reality, I have a problem with. And I don't think it's just, Democrats. I think there's just a lot of people out there that are trying to push a narrative that embraces all of these other lifestyles and things that are going on in our society, and nobody just kind of wants to come out and tell people the truth. I don't know. Those people probably just didn't want to be on camera walking outside, and stop to make a comment, which I can understand that. But I don't think anyone should have any confusion about what we just talked about and what science is and what reality is. So I would have a problem with anybody that would push that narrative, anybody whatsoever.
Beachy, what are your thoughts?
I'm deeply offended, at the entirety of the situation, because I am tired of walking on eggshells and tiptoeing around certain lifestyles, not to offend anyone or say the wrong thing, which is exactly what it looks like. They just didn't even want to. They're going to keep walking, because when did it become such a complex question? Like, these are yes or no things. What are you teaching people? Like, I don't understand how they got this bad. I don't understand how did it get to the point where you just can't say, me, I'm a woman. Okay, in the flesh, out the womb, got that additional chromosome. I don't understand. I mean, it can't. That's why I'm like, okay, so you're just gonna keep walking. It's like the elephant in the room. Like, so what's gonna happen if someone says what a particular community didn't like? And I hear stuff all the time that I don't like about our community. It doesn't change the fact or some of the stats about it. I might not like it, but I've learned to respect it, because some things are what they are. Okay, but why do I getting special treatment? I don't understand what who wrote the rules and start manipulating where we're going to give you special treatment as not to offend you over science. Like that's not what we do. That's not what science should even be playing with. So on a philosophical or a psychology level, okay, you can play around and okay, you feel a certain way. I mean, some days I feel like a nut, some days I don't. But I can't play with my DNA. I can't play with my blood type, my bloodstream. These are facts. It shouldn't even be like dangled with a question that's yes or no. So it has gone too far. Even their community should be, any community that is a alternative lifestyle, they should be bold enough to say, hey, hold on now. We get it. Yeah, this is causing too much confusion. Like I would be impressed with seeing the other side saying, I know that I'm not born as you are. I'm fine with that, but I still want to look like you and I want to identify with you. Okay, that's fine. But there is no way we're standing side by side and or neck to neck or eye to eye, and you're going to be getting the same treatments that I have to get because you don't biologically fit the prototype. You just don't have it. So I'll wait and find out when one of these men go to the OBGYN. Is that how far they're taking it? Are they going to be booking? Are we going to be seeing them in the waiting room of the obstetrician and gynecologist office?
Yep, they're playing into the delusion for sure. Art Payne, welcome to the show tonight. From a male perspective, other than my own, Art Payne, what are your thoughts on what you've seen so far? I know you've seen the first video as well as the second one as well. Go ahead.
I saw the video a lot of times. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
All right, hello, ladies. All right. And listen, a woman is an adult human female, period. An adult human female, that's the answer. A little girl is a pre-adolescent or adolescent human female. That's what they are. And it's bigger than just the fact that some of these people are, trying to push this agenda. I don't think we really realize how close America is to being run by people who are in complete delusion. We have 4 years of it. Where we all had to backpedal, people worrying about losing their job for misgendering people and all that. And believe it or not, forget about, the fact that Trump has a pretty bad character, but he's the only one saying what that he has to say. There's some shit that he's doing that could lose the elections in the future, and we'll have these people right back in charge. And and I don't know where America's going to go if the liberal Democrats take over again, because they're so far to the left that they're unrecognizable. They're communists and everything else. So, and the fact that this lady couldn't answer, can a man get pregnant, is to me the same thing as asking the Supreme Court justice what is a woman, and she wouldn't answer. But she's making laws. And unfortunately, a lot of liberal women are in pretty high places now. They're making laws. And in low places because they sit on boards where they can have clowns and freaks teaching your kids, and you can't do nothing about it. So, I mean, we're in big trouble, man. I tell you, this little brief respite with the 4 years of Trump and the conservatives, it might just be just 4 years. And maybe only 2 of those, because if they retake the House, it's going to be a clown show. So anyway, so that's what I say. So what is a man? Can a man have a baby? Hell no. And if you can't answer that, I'm glad that thing went viral. First of all, people like my man, the senator who was talking. A lot of people like that guy. And I think he was really surprised on how belligerent that woman was by not wanting to answer that question. And it's a travesty. And it's a mindset. It's a mindset. And that's the same kind of mindset that raided a church last Sunday.
Yeah, the Don Lemon effect. Yeah.
I'll land it there, but it's pervasive.
Yeah. And again, thank you guys. If you're watching right now, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hit the share button as well. If you want to give to the channel, you see the cash up at the bottom of the screen. If you want to give to the channel again, you see the super chats at the bottom as well. Donate to the channel today. I do want to go to this next video though, because we got to discuss it. It's coming in all different levels, and I definitely want to discuss it because it makes no sense. But we'll go to this one. Here we go.
Men and men.
If the question is about trans women,
I'm just asking, is there a difference between women and men?
what I can say here is that the NCAA has rules in place. They've had rules in place for the last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm
happened,
going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the
Is that a yes?
conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is
but
that
I
a
also
yes?
think
So I'm
that when
trying to
we're-
get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're
which
not
is
answering
different
that.
than
Let me ask
gender.
you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex is
My
different
question,
than gender.
why
and I do believe that women's sports have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we've talked
separate
about it here
category for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender, and that the NCAA has rules in place, which they have for the last decade.
Mr. Chairman,
which
I
determine
would
that
like to enter into
related
the
to
record an
participation.
article from Duke Law called Comparing Athletic Performances for the Best Elite Women to Boys and Men. And it goes through examining in 2017 the top records for women in the world in various track and field events. So, for example, in the 100 meter, the top record for women in the world was 10.71 seconds. Now, that record for the number one woman in the world in 2017 was, in the year 2017, broken by 124 boys under 18. In that same year, the record for the number one competing woman in the 100-meter dash in the world was broken by a total of 2,474 men. If the radical Democrat agenda to destroy girls' sports and women's sports succeeds, little girls will not have a chance to compete. So I ask unanimous consent that this article be entered into the record.
Without objection. Senator Padilla?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good point he made. You listen, the fact that men have penetrated so far into women's spaces is all women's fault. It's absolutely women's fault because they advocate for that shit. They advocated for a lot of this bullshit, and they didn't understand when you're dealing with men, men are conquerors. They don't share. We don't share. But we take over. And so even though a man might call himself a woman, he's not here to just share anything. He's here to beat you. He's here to compete. You know, people keep saying it's such a small percentage of those transgenders, but already thousands of little girls have lost scholarships and lost thousands. You know, just do a Google search and you'll find that out. And so I remember Title IX. I'm old enough to understand the fight that women put in for Title IX. And it was one of the best pieces of legislation ever. And a lot of women who are leaders today, they owe it to Title IX. And to see them let it go away, and when I say let it go away, when Bruce Jenner was awarded Woman of the Year and women didn't burn down the place, I said, you know, I was really pissed. This is not a man's fight. But, you know, if it wasn't for Riley Gaines, we wouldn't even have this much pushback. Yeah, it's crazy. And I have to say to your sisters, I can't blame it on y'all, but Black women are some of the biggest culprits with this. You know, in terms of what they push, and people could put batteries in their back. And when Black women speak, believe it or not, a lot of people listen. A lot of people listen.
Now I want to say this real quick too before we get the ladies in here. The same lady was asked another question, and you know what's embarrassing? To see a Black woman who is up in age answering these questions And knowing what Black women been through, knowing the transition of Black women had to go through the vote, to be a part of things, to be paid, to be all these different things, and you can't answer these questions, it's baffling to me that this lady looked like she walked with Martin Luther King, and she cannot answer these questions, and she's saying stupid shit that she knows that is not right. But I'm gonna let y'all listen to this video because she comes back again. They ask her another question, guys, and it's just bad that she it's bad. Let's listen.
Ms. Robinson, I want to follow up.
Oh, that's my man.
Can y'all hear that good?
By trying to understand your answer to one of Senator Cruz's questions. And this is really a question, not a suggestion. Do I understand your position to be that there are two sexes, but there can be more than two genders?
I wouldn't even say two, and we've got Dr. Lopez here as well, but there's also the definition of intersex. I think that often in these conversations we're conflating sex and gender, and I do want to affirm here that trans women are women. That is their gender.
Okay. But I'm trying to understand. Do you make a distinction between sex and gender?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Explain that. Just. Do you think there are more than two sexes?
I believe that there's a definition for intersex as well that I want to acknowledge. But sex is assigned at birth.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm thoroughly confused. So you're born, I'm talking about biology, male, female, and what else?
I believe that intersex is also acknowledged, but again, I'm not a doctor here. What I can
And what
say
does intersex mean?
is that there's a difference between sex and gender, and I think in these conversations we're conflating the two.
Well, but I want to start with sex. Okay, there's male, there's female. When a baby's born, before the baby has had time to even have a sense of self, there's male, female, and intersex. There's a third.
I believe that is true, but I would defer to Dr. Lopez as I'm not a physician.
Okay. And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive and the definitions are always growing. Today I can tell you, I talk to young people that talk about non-binary as
more than five.
I think the gender is not a binary, is what I'm trying to say.
Are there more than five genders? I'm just trying to understand. Are there more than five genders?
Well, I mean, I think that there was a time where women wearing pants didn't feel like it was appropriate for their gender, and yet I'm wearing pants today. I think that there are ways that we express our gender that are expansive.
Are there more than five?
I wouldn't subject myself to naming how many genders there are, but what I can say is that gender is a reflection.
Number?
Excuse me?
There's an infinite number of genders?
I think depending on your culture, there are a lot of different genders that exist. And I can also say that it's a term that's evolving. If you look at young people today, they really don't lean into the binary of only woman and man. So I think that it's incumbent upon us not to legislate on this, but create space for them to explore what their identities are, what their gender identities are.
Let's get back to athletics. I think I understand what you're saying. There are three sexes: male, female, and intersex.
I believe that to be true, but again, I'm not a physician.
And there are an infinite number of genders because gender is a mental state.
Gender is about expression, and I think that there are a variety of ways that you can express your gender.
Okay, so there's infinite number. All right, let's go back to the biology. Male, female, boy, girl. Okay, biologically, do males have an advantage over females biologically in sports?
Again, I'm not a physician and I can't speak to that.
What's your real world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some males that are taller than some women, and some that are shorter.
That a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think.
What are your thoughts?
It's
ladies,
ridiculous. I don't know where to start. I mean, I don't know about her, but most of us have we did something. I haven't ran track and field in at least over 30 years plus probably, but I can tell you for sure that would have never been a you can't sign up. You know, you got the women's team relay, men's relay. I can race Mr. Payne all day, but I could never quite catch up with the guy. That's how we got better as female running. We
you
raised
beat me down. You beat me down.
because it will push us to the limit, like for fun, not expecting to beat them. They were just faster in a lot of stuff. Even with the shot put, that shot put is heavy. In women, we're not that. We don't have that extra muscle and something in the shoulder. So with the shot put, they even scored it different, male and female. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how did it get to the point where they're even trying to consider putting them on the same page? It doesn't make any sense. It's not applicable. This is just a non. How did it get here? I don't know how it got this bad. I don't understand, because that's not a, well, I can outrun a guy. No, that's not how that works. You got to use the stats and the math and the speed and the BMI, all those things that physics gave us. So we're just going to throw physics out the window. So everybody throw physics out. We're going to all defy the laws of physics. And I'm going to be able to, transubstantiate and be a bird and grow feathers and fly off into the sky. I want to fly. But guess what? I don't have wings, and I'm not celestial at this time. I'm not in that type of body. So I got to deal with walking, and it's a joke. I can't take this serious. This can't be real. Like I'm not getting on this bandwagon. Okay, it's already hard enough being in certain places, having to tiptoe, get kicked out of the room if I misgender someone. I can't be playing games in the real world. If I sign up for my appointment, I'm telling you that I walk in there and I see a guy, I have not seen that happen, get up and he's being seen before me, I'm suing. Like, that's not gonna, stop playing with me. I'm going to know. So you have a seat. We're not doing those type of games. And I haven't seen that. Even with insurance, like how does insurance think they're going to pay? Even with our genetic coding in the, the insurance and how they code, it's different codes for men and different women. They're playing with things that can't be undone. They can't go and undo the genetic coding of male and female. That can't be undone, you guys. They can write all the laws they want, but they can't go and un-XX me or nice. They can't do it. And I can't un-XY you. Those things can't be undone. They are what they are. I can cut my hair off and you can grow it, whatever the case. It's not going to change the DNA. So I'm still confused at why people won't just say, aside from science, you can feel and identify. Well, okay, in your head, I wanted to be the fifth member of En Vogue. It didn't happen. Okay, and it won't. But guess what? I'm not. And I can enjoy them and watch them and appreciate their craft and art and love them, but I will never be them. And so this is just ridiculous. I don't even know how to have the discussion without just blatantly offending some people and saying, it's okay to say we've gone too far. Step back. And even tell your friend, if I had a friend, like, friend, I love you, but we are not the same. I will love you. I will support you, but you got to love me enough to respect my creator, the right in my genetic code. We're not the same. I still love you though, but we are not the same. So wherever that was lost, if it's with our women, then we got to figure out where we lost that, where we just gave up all our power in womanhood to another gender, as if we somehow now we don't exist. So we're gonna have to backtrack and figure out how that happened, because we're not the same.
Anissa?
Well, I feel like the man in the video. This is why the world is confused. Because if you buy into it, it would be confusing to you. But of course, I don't think that way. I'm very clear about it. I'm not confused. No one's going to make me confused about it. And it's just going to take people standing 10 toes down on what it is and not being afraid to say it. And I think that's what it's come to. No one wants to offend. No one wants to let people live, let people do what they want. Yeah, let people do what they want. But now if you ask me, I'm gonna give you the business. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you might not like it. You can unfriend me, unfollow, whatever the case may be. But there's nothing that, because you're confused, is not going to change my reality. And I think people just are going to have to be bold and stand on that. Just because you are mixed up and you are confused and you probably need some counseling or whatever, that does not change the reality. And this is the reality, and this is how things should be. I just don't understand let them go have their own sport. I mean, what is so hard about that?
Right.
Why can't they just come up
It's
with
not
sport
enough.
for transgender people?
They don't
And
have
let
enough
them
to
compete,
do
and let
that.
them compete against each other. I don't
The
understand
funding,
why that's an issue.
they don't have enough. They need us in the funding to slide in.
I get that.
Yeah,
But
it's like that.
it would alleviate this conversation of, because I'm a trans woman, I think I'm a woman, even though I'm still biologically a man. Everybody knows that men are stronger than women, faster than women. I mean, we just don't have the same genetic makeup. And that's obvious. And you can go through all of that, but genetically, you're still a man. You're still going to be stronger, faster than the average woman. Even a woman that's, well trained and has gone through all the training and lifting the weights or whatever, that man is still going to have a biological edge. So I don't understand how anyone with common sense wouldn't see the problem with that and people that are competing. And I don't understand. They should just get their own sports.
Yeah, because the devil's a deceiver. And the point is, our society is bigger than that, because these simple solutions don't work because there's a unseen hand at play that don't want them to work. It's not a mistake that we're talking about transgender women, men who want to be women, more than we talk about women who want to be men. There is riches in a woman's space. And there's certain things in a woman's space that these men crave. Before, when you had gender dysphoria, you were ill. And they took it out of that document that talks about illnesses, right? They took it out of there and they made it into like this social construct. And there's ideologies, forget about politics for a second, that believe that people should have a choice, and a choice to say that, if you're born a woman or a man, that just because you don't feel that way, you can go ahead and usurp the spaces of the other sex. It seems like an easy fix, but it's not, because there are forces behind pushing that agenda. Now, if it was just individuals who in their private spaces didn't care, we all probably say, I don't care either. I don't care what you do in your own home. But they're putting it into legislation. They're teaching your children. They're having full-fledged discussions about transgenderism to third graders and fourth graders and shit. Like, what about reading, writing, and arithmetic? Our kids can't even read. But they're telling you feel like a girl now. Kids are going to school with fluffy hats on and peeing in litter boxes and tampons in boys' bathrooms like the Minnesota governor put them in all. We got a bigger issue than something so simple to fix.
Right.
And the people who are in charge kind of can mandate those kind of things because they put it in legislation at all levels. And so now you're breaking the law if you don't do certain things, and placate to the crazies. And that's where we are. And not unfortunate, but you have to have conservative values that fight against that, not only because it makes sense, but you also have to control the legislation as well. Because without that, we're going to be back there and people going to marry dolphins and shit like that. It's coming.
Yep, Beachy, I put in the back chat the link that you can send to your people if they want to come up. Yeah. And I wanted to say this real quick too. Next year, Arpain, you and I we're gonna go to Kentucky. We're gonna go do the Kentucky Derby. We're gonna be horses, and we're gonna stand in this stable. And when they shoot, we're just gonna take our running with the horses, because that's what it's getting to. It's getting to the point where you're gonna be able to marry your cat, your dog. And you're right. It's going to get to that point because right now they have children literally in school saying, "Today he's a cat," and and the teachers have to abide by that and treat this damn kid like a cat. Like it's getting really bad. But I want to go even further up the chain, guys. I have another video for you, Beach. I got another video for you, Art. Our great sister, Ketanji Brown. Yeah. Ketanji says she ain't no biologist, so she can't tell you what a woman is. The first black woman Supreme Court says she can't tell you what a woman is. Let's listen to her. Hold on just a second. Here we go. Let me pull it up.
It's kind of low.
What I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law
Is it better
and
now?
I decide. So I'm.
You provide a definition for the word woman.
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can.
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide. So I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
Woo.
Hey, thanks for
Nissa, what are
watching.
your thoughts?
If you like
Well, I remember when Ketanji was speaking about that, and I was just incredulous about it that she just couldn't give a simple definition of what a woman. I mean, this is a Supreme Court judge, so I have no answers for any of this. I don't believe in it. I don't have a problem defining it. I will always be able to define it. I will always stand on that there's a difference between male and female. I don't think that any transgender person should be, transgender women should not be in women's sports and vice versa. I don't have a problem saying it. I don't understand the difficulty, but as our parents said, there are so many different things at play here. That are bigger than just our natural ideas and opinions of what men and women are. So it's a battle. And I think, as far as like with the kids, I think that's when parents are just going to have to be very diligent because obviously they're trying to impact these children when they're young by teaching this in school. When we were growing up, it was just never a conversation. It was sex education was like the biggest thing, but this wasn't even a conversation. And so now the young kids are having to deal with this. And I think parents just are going to have to be extremely diligent with their children and the things that they are being taught, because we do know that children are so impressionable and so influenced by their peers and people around them. So, parents got a tough job. But they're going to have to be super diligent with their children to make sure that they understand, like in this house, this is what it is, and this is what we're doing. And all that other stuff is, And parents are going to have to be really forceful in keeping their kids on the right path with this.
So should we just, as a Black community, should we just start homeschooling all of our 100% of our children? Because the schools are allowing it. I'm telling you as a parent, the schools are allowing the kids to come to school dressed like the boys, dressed like girls. They can wear skirts. They can wear heels. They can do weave. They do lashes. And when the school's allowing it and they're pushing that on the kids and saying, hey, it's okay, be you, then I think that in order to get your kids from around that, because what's going to happen is resentment. All these transgender boys or girls are going to get this special treatment. They're going to get treated a certain way. If you say anything to them, they have the power to get you expelled. Right? I remember last year, year before last, I think R-Pain, we talked about this on Barbershop, where they sent a letter home with my kids saying that you have to call the child by the gender that they wanted to be. So if the kid was Chris last year and he's transitioning or wants to be called a girl, Christina, you have to call the child Christina. So now you're forcing the kids to make a decision on what they see. They know that was Chris 6 months ago. Now Christina. And so, man, my son JJ don't give a damn. My son JJ said, I ain't calling that boy Christina. But if you don't, it's considered now hate crime. You really can't. You gotta call them, even in the corporate world. I'm in the corporate world. You gotta call people out what they want to be called, or your ass will be fired. You'll be unemployed. So what do? Do we homeschool our kids 100%? Are we code switching for these people in the corporate world? What are we doing?
Okay, I'm going to give you two answers to that. First, I'm going to come from an educator point of view. We're not doing that. Some of us, we've already took a stand down here in the dirty South. My daughter, in her class, the particular child in question that wanted to swap over somewhere between 5th and 6th grade. They were one way after 5th grade. By the time they got to middle school, it was something different. Now they're all in high school. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm going to say this. Some of those mothers, we didn't already talk. I'm not in the classroom anymore, but I still have much influence. And this is how we're going to do it. This is what our daughters are doing. We're uncomfortable. So I'm not going to give them the answers on here because I know this is being streamed live. But we have a reverse Uno card to play back in their face. My daughter is not sharing in a bathroom with this particular individual. She has a right to be protected and feel safe and not in a man's space. She is a child. So if they're gonna play by those rules, then we got a set of rules that we can play by too, where it's infringing on her right to not be bothered in her freedom and her innocence being tested. So there's an answer to that. I'm just not going to give on this platform because I know there are others watching. So you got to understand, we're fighting back. No, we're not. I've done homeschooling at a time when I needed it for my boys, and well, they're out of school now. But that's retreat and run. We're not doing that. Okay, that's not what the Creator did. He doesn't retreat to anything. So a choice is going to have to be made for some people. Who you with? If you really are following the Creator in the Most High, you're gonna have to stand head to head, horn to horn, toe to toe with some of these things and say, I'm not moving. You're just gonna have to, because retreating, I don't see anywhere I can find and read where I'm told just retreat, just fall back. No, that's not how we're doing. Especially when the government in itself, the foundation. The government itself is kind of biblical. If you read how government was even started, the Bible is gonna tell you some things about who put government in place. It might be a conversation for another day. I haven't yet to be able to get people who want to touch that topic about God and the government. So those two things coming head to head, it's telling me a story already that, okay, this is what we're doing. Let me go on and mark this entity as what it is, and there will be no surrender and no retreat. So I mean, to each his own how they want to play out this story or their part in it, but we most certainly will not be retreating to just come on in the house and let's close the blinds and let's not go out here and upset the masses. Are you kidding me? That's not what I was taught, and that's not what that word told me. We are salt and we are the light of the world. And that's what we're going to be doing. And also, any weapon form is not supposed to be prospering. So if we're going to be standing on some of these things that we always quoting, then you're going to have to actually be that. You're actually going to have to face the weapons formed against you and not let it prosper. You're going to have to say no. You're going to have to tell some people, well, make me. You're going to have to, when they try to say, oh, well, if you're misgender, we're going to, okay, well, then I'm going to put a charge on you for sexual misconduct of against a minor. Because when does my daughter, gender should not be in the same place as a male in a space that's confined. Now you're conflicting on her rights. See, I'm going to play too. They want to play dirty. I got all the dirty rules, okay? And it's just because it's going to have to come to that. Because I've tried everything, you guys. Some of us, we have allowed grace when there shouldn't have been any grace because we're not being given any grace. We gave the grace. And I know why some of our women did that. I get it. The lack of that male figure, having that constant around. We saw it out in other places that weren't the right things. Okay, that's what happened. It's out of control. It's out of control.
Arpan, you want to add something?
Well, yeah, one of the things that, is additive. This is why when people say it's not important to vote, matter of fact, it's supremely important to vote on a local level because it's the school boards that determine what they teach their children. And, sometimes you'll wake up and you'll say, well, how could you vote for such bullshit? Right? And so you got to have the school board in your favor. And so you have to really scrutinize who wants to be on those boards because they specifically want to be on there so they can place an agenda. In Dearborn, Michigan, where the Muslims took over, right? And they're a bloc. They're different than the Somalis, but the Muslims took over the school boards, the mayors, the police chiefs, and all that. And somebody tried to put that transgender bullshit in their schools, in their district. And they said they weren't having it. You could send your kid to one of those schools, they ain't getting one lick of this transgender shit. Not one, not in their school, sports, none of that. None of that, because the great Quran said, hell no, that's haram. And they follow that. And so they took over the school board. They didn't have to go say, we're going to chop people up with machetes and shit. They just voted. And we, as Black people, we in our communities, we're in 100 different directions, which is okay, but we never focus on the main thing, right? Where we should be in sabbatical, we're not, and so we lose it. So there you go.
Well, I think are we all familiar with what happened in Pompeii? What happened? Pompeii got it didn't take long. Okay, nope. They were doing the same stuff in Pompeii, and people wonder now, like, well, what kind of God? Well, they got the babies now that you can go and visit that are still just ash. That everything. Well, based on how the way things were going, that child probably wasn't going to have much of a chance to grow up and have a favor was probably done. Like the way things were that bad, that's what it takes. I mean, I'm not God, but I stand with him, and I'm not gonna even pacify my own behavior. If I know I'm out of order, misconduct, not just misconduct, but I'm breaking certain laws that I'm held by. I'm willing to take my chastisement and learn and grow. Okay, well, that's I can look at where it causes confusion. I can check myself. I don't know what entity of people are on this earth that think they're above reproach, because they're not. None of us are. And I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. If it takes fire and brimstone, if it just takes fire and brimstone, I just go on and do what it got to do. So be it. I'll be out there cheering for it because it's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. I'm not giving anybody a pass on this topic. Friend, foe, whoever. No. Pass for me. So.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Ferg has made his way to the building. Coach Ferg, man, what is going on with you? I don't know if you got a chance to watch the show up until this point and know what we're talking about. But tonight, you see the subject. You know, what is a woman? Can a man get pregnant? Coach Ferg, what are your did you get a chance to see the video of the congressman asking the doctor, can a man get pregnant? And she couldn't answer the question.
Yeah. Well, how y'all doing, man? Happy New Year to you, brother. Happy New Year to y'all, man. I saw part of the video when the congressman was speaking. You know, I think I've seen it sometime before. And, you know, I didn't really need to hear what the woman had to say because of the question. You know, we define all, I guess, scientific, biblical theology of a woman, a man being able to birth a child. That's not even, you know, it's in reality, but the dynamics of nature and life itself is stupid to me. I'm a man. We all know we come from a womb. You can, every warm-blooded mammal comes into this planet, comes from a womb. Right. And the fact that we can continue to reproduce wombs, and then, women can, they have that, you know, but a man to be able to have a baby, I wonder who's brave enough to sit on the table to get that operation.
Well, it won't. It's not possible. Like that. That's a myth, and people playing with that. It's impossible. Yeah, you can't recreate.
I'm just saying though.
It's that complex in its entirety. It's a transplant. It's never going to happen. No, don't ever be misled. What people will try to say. Well, I read. No. At best, a woman may have another uterus, maybe try to be implanted in her, and that has been failing. But thinking that it's going to go into a man's body, it's just not possible. That's how intricate and how awesome our God is. God's design is infallible. Right. You will not be recreating his creation. It's not going to happen that way, no matter how much dreams and people start talking and putting out false scientific data. It's never going to happen, because I can assure you, if they could have, that idea would have been tried a long time ago. It's impossible.
So just to what you said, right? Because, you know, I'm a man. I'm a dyed man, born a man, raised. But just to what you said, right? To me, if you can believe in that, you really don't believe in God. You just
talk to me.
You just faking out here. You can't defy what God has already ordained. It's already millennials after we gone in dust. They still go have that fine sister with the nice little yams and nice little silky hair in the summertime. They still gonna be coming. Brothers like me with DMU and our pain with broad shoulders and hammers, and we still gonna be here producing. So to think that a man, my ugly ass having a baby, that's diabolical. That's diabolical. That don't even. But again, when people are I guess they have low self-esteem and low love for themselves without the connection to the higher power, they'll believe it. And it's typically white folk will run the story, and slow ass baby, sorry, I love black folks, slow ass ninjas play with that shit all the way through their life and spew these diabolical ideologies. And now we got the men's as a women, the women's reversing. We fighting against our nature, trying to reverse the life. It's impossible to do, but think about the people's mind who actually go through it and live it and spew it to the world and say, this is normal. No, that shit ain't.
Yes,
I'll be happy.
Man.
I'm good, man.
You said something that's funny though. If everybody remembers that movie, Tu Wong Fu, when Wesley Snipes was with Patrick Swayze, and they had the cross dress, right? And they had Patrick Swayze, because the white guy, he's all cross.
Say hello to Tu Wong Fu, I think it was.
Julie Lumar, we love you or something.
Yeah.
They fixed him up, right? So he looked like a woman. But Wesley's like, they didn't even try. They put like big pink lipstick on him, and they just threw a wig on, because there's no way you could make him look like a woman. There's just no way. But you know, Patrick Swayze had those. It was so funny because he was just like a dude in drag.
Yeah.
Right? So you just gotta be. If it's too ugly, you can't be gay.
most black men are ugly when they try to look like a woman. Well, let me not say most. All them niggas is ugly. They look even worse trying to look like y'all.
All of us are ugly.
How a man gonna look like y'all with them?
Yeah, there's some fundamental reasons why men.
Now I will say this: I've talked to, having conversation with women and or men. And I don't know if you remember this, Arpain. A long time ago, we had a show, and we had barbershop, and we were just clowning in the barbershop. And I posted 5 or 6 pictures, and all the guys on the panel was like, "Damn, boy, yeah, that's why we need to go to Brazil. That's why we need to go here." You know, I don't know if you remember Nissa. I think you remember when I put them up there, and I said, "Guys, all of those are men."
Mm-hmm.
These doctors, even Mandrea was like, "Damn, those doctors need to be tipped." They have they have almost damn near perfected. They got pills to take away they can shave the Adam's apple. They can take the hands and do some hormonally with the hands to turn the hands softer. Like, they are really manipulating these people's bodies to fool people. And I'm telling you, Doug, I don't know if y'all saw the Dr. Umar interview where he was on with 3 women.
Oh yeah, I saw.
And Dr. Umar said, "Yeah, this is my beautiful sister, my beautiful sister, my beautiful sister," right? And somebody whispered in his ear and said, "Hey, brother, you talking about your beautiful sister? No, that's a trans woman." And he got pissed off. He said, "Why the hell didn't y'all tell me before this thing started that was a damn woman and had me calling this woman beautiful?"
Well, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna keep it delicate. With all those surgeries and manipulation outwardly, it can be fooled. It can be tricked, and things can be tweaked and finessed, and it can appear. But internally, I have spoken with at least 2 men. I don't know if they'll do it now, but we're not the same. And that one of the men particularly said he didn't know until the moment came. Something didn't feel right. And we adults here. We're talking as adults, okay? He said he knew the minute contact was made from his manhood to the other attempted version of what me and my sister have, he knew immediately something was wrong. And he stopped immediately and was just, from there, as you can just, there wasn't any balance or anything wrong, but he just knew and kind of left that situation. But I was quite pleased to know. I always knew there's no way you can make this. This is, you're not gonna insult my Father, my Heavenly Father. You're not gonna play games and make me believe that anybody can restructure the internal nature of the woman. You can't do it. And I was very happy to hear one man. There's only 2 that I know that will actually own up to that. But one definitely for sure said it was something right. It was too much. It's a little bit to speak on, but he knew immediately. So I just want to put that out there for anybody. Don't think that outwardly can look one way, but inwardly is a different story. So unfortunately, and these doctors are making a lot of money by convincing them. I guess unless you were born a woman, how things work, how things fit. It's just part of your body. Just as you men have things that are part of your body, you know how they are. And as women, we also know when there are unnatural things for us. Like, that ain't natural. If you know a man, you know a man. And if it ain't a man, then it's an unnatural object and situation going on. It's not the same. And we know that. But sure, influence won't own to that or admit it, then they're just liars. Okay, but definitely for the woman's side, they cannot get that down. At best, it's just, you just have to use your imagination. But it is not us, and you will know too. So men don't think, oh my gosh, what if something happens and you're caught and didn't know? Oh, you're gonna know. You will know.
Let me say this. There was this, I can't think of the name of the podcast, where they have the blue couch with the lights in the back. Damn it. But it's a real popular podcast. They had one of those things on there. And that's what I call them things. I don't even know what they are no more. And they was asking that thing some questions. And she said, that thing said, I ain't gonna say she because it was a nigga, said, oh yeah, all the time. I have men all the time, celebrity men, blah, 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 blah. And if she didn't tell you, listen, Beachy, if she didn't tell you she was a nigga, you want to know. She said, you know how many back seats I done been in with basketball players and they just getting them one off and not knowing I'm a dude. And they asked her, do you think it's dangerous for you to be playing with men like that? She said, they can't tell. I've had the full surgery.
Lies.
Time out. Okay. BM, you heard what you said, right? Because I'm with this young lady here, right? Them niggas know.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Yeah.
See, that's the play right there. They know.
Come on, coach.
Man, they know. We've been around. Listen, I knew a couple of dudes like that from Kiev. They was a grower. We called him Johnny May. He was a big top. That was his name to us in the community, right? What? So they know. Guys are curious, man. Listen. They want that taste of that
taste. That booty.
You know. I'm just saying, they know.
Anybody remember that scripture that says, "Stay away from strange flesh"? Y'all need me to go pull that out.
But Boosie got something to say.
With your wide ass shoulders, back boy, back bitch. Yeah, I never could stand them.
That's funny, Coach. That's funny.
I think that again, the world is in a bad situations in a bad way. I think that moving forward, the kids are in trouble. They are in trouble. Man, if you got a good woman right now, hold on to a grown man. I'm talking about. Hold on to her. I was talking to my baby. We was talking about Steve Harvey's Strawberry Letter. And on this, I know you remember we talked about this a while back too, where the lady called in and said, hey, me and my husband been married for 4 years. We've been trying to have kids. He's been going to the sperm, getting his sperm check, getting his seed check, make sure it's working. Nothing's working. And she said, I just have a secret from him that I haven't told him. And they asked her what the secret was. And she said, I was born a man.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. And Steve Harvey told her, you're going to need 3 things: a priest, an ambulance, and probably a hearse when you go tell that man that you were born a man.
Man, listen, I'm old school, man. And I'm gonna blame these type of men on the women's, right? And I'm just leave it at that. But listen, I'm old school, right? And listen, my grandmama and my mama always told me, you got to do the 2-finger touch. If you any girl that you listen, if she sit in your car and they gonna always let you give the 2 fingers. Listen. Not only do it, you know the substance what it is made of. That's because again, oh Lord Jesus, I don't know. There's something within those guys who try to play the trick because that's a pride thing to. And but I would like to know who raised them. The father was there, their mama, who groomed them because. Yeah. It started from those perverted family members. Mm-hmm. And I say this, I'll shut up. It was a dude on TikTok or whatever saying, ladies, I know y'all probably heard, saying that y'all sisters don't own periods. These niggas are trying to take y'all periods away. That's what he's saying. It's out there. He's like, sisters, they don't own, women think they own periods. Dude, you sitting up here with a head like, listen, the last thing a man ever wants from a woman is her period.
Exactly.
But he said that's what they own.
Don't put the women say, yeah, you can have that shit, man. Everyone take it. But that's funny, man. I mean, there's a lot of weirdos out there. A lot of weird. You know what's funny? I mean, I never had that encounter. But you know what would bother me the most? If I had like a woman who faked me out, not the whole sex thing. That's if we were kissing. If you can't take that shit back.
Because they be kissing them
I
too.
mean, I could close my eyes and stick the thing in a hole, but keep kissing and you know, oh man, how do you take that back?
This nigga's a homosexual.
How do you take that back? You know, that's it. You can't take it back.
But a man's feet is gonna be his feet, and his hands gonna be his hands. So you can't change that. They ain't doing surgeries on. Hold on, they ain't doing surgeries on that yet, are they? Feet and hands, just so they.
Yeah. Yes, Coach. That's what we were talking about. They're doing the hands, the Adam's apple, the feet, everything. Everything now can be done.
Not
I always told him.
Not everything.
I told my son I always do
another thing is
scratches.
they got some women got some big feet these days too, though.
Sure do.
Yeah, that's not enough. Even on the implants, on the, if we reverse it the other way, the women who want to change over to men, it's not effective. There's so many complicated. It can't be done. The complicated, the implant in itself is defective. You know, it can't produce obviously a certain substance that's manufactured, and I would be questioning what is being. They took it that far that they wanted to produce a white substance. We all know as male sperm, and they can't. So that's how bad they want to be the other gender. They'll take a fake substance. Like what are you doing here? Like, do you know what that is that you put in your body? You're killing yourself. Do you know what they're putting in your in these man-made
that is crazy.
scrotums and filling it with things and trying to manipulate and make a machine basically and sew it on your body? This is playing with your health and your life just for you to try to do what you still can't do. You still gotta do all this manipulation, the thing, and it never stays on. There's some grotesque stories. Guys, do yourself a favor and never watch them. Never watch a penile implant, okay? You won't be. It's disgusting. But the whole act of that, it's like, what is this? This is a joke. It looks unnatural. It can't do what it's supposed to do. They were better off not doing that. And then there were stories of the tragedy after, like, why did they do that? They end up going into depression, and some even worse for doing so much tampering on their body and still not. You cannot be. You can't do him. That's why we are who we are intricately, both sides. It just can't be duplicated. You can imitate it, but it cannot be duplicated. So, yeah, I'm not moved. I am not giving up my seat. There are certain, and we say women's only. That's what we mean. And can't nobody make us budge. We said what we said.
What you just explained is,
and not a law or anything can change that. You just have to know how to put your foot down and say what you mean and mean what you say, and then go back. And they have not been able to undo some stuff. So don't lose hope, you guys. It won't come to what you all think it is, but they sure pushing it.
Yes, it is.
The extremes are based on enabling sickness. When you enable people who have mental issues and they find enablers, they take it to the extremes. That's exactly what that is. You know, I don't know the way out of it other than to make sure that, you know, there's always people speaking out against it without fear.
I got a solution, a possible solution, right? Especially we all modern, right? Because ladies, and I'll say this real quick, the greatest and the most dynamic muscle on a man is that hammer. The ladies love it and the men love it. We love it too because it's ours. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. However, right? Yeah, you all your babies look just like you. Your dynamic is dynamic. Is all I'm saying. But anyway.
So we give it to the ladies and we tell the transgenders you can't have it. What do we say?
Yeah, they can't have it. 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 No.
You know what the transgender will say to you, man?
No, he can't have it, man.
I got my own hammer.
But that's what makes us that's what gives us some of our greatest connection power, right? Is being able to connect that way. And the fact that, again, the fact that they are manipulating minds in real time now, because people are a little slower than they were when we was outside. And there a lot of people are going to sign up for it. Young people, a lot of young people. And I'll say, and this is my solution. If we can find a way, if we can get the children start to connect with both sides of the family. If the children and ladies stop having babies by the dudes that behavior ain't shit. Allow the fathers at some point when your son have a scrotum drop, when his balls separate from his body, allow your son around real men, a real man, the dude that ain't sagging, dude to go to work 9 to 5, will do whatever. Allow him around that. Ladies, take the girls over in the corner and say, hey, no, you ain't showing no cleavage. You ain't showing no butt, no waistline. You're going to dress respectful. You're going to stay away from the dude that's sagging their pants. We're going to talk about it on both sides. Allow both children. There's some days you go see daddy and the boy come home and everybody be a part of that, because the young people, they're caught up in a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And if we don't, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the logical, we don't find a way to teach them. I don't know.
So let me say this real quick too, Coach Perk, because I was looking this up while I was talking to y'all. So y'all know who Angela Stanton is, right?
Say it again.
Angela Stanton. She's a political powerhouse. She be on their ass. But she against the abortion, she against the transgender shit, she's against all of that shit. And now everybody coming to her with a side eye because her son is now going through the same shit. And she told him, she said, I don't give a damn about my son. If he want to be that, I'm gonna treat him the same way I treat all the rest of them. She said, I'm not gonna lose myself because my son want to transition to a goddamn woman.
She said, her son got lost into that.
Yeah, and so this is Angela, and this is her son.
Yeah, but how did he get lost into that?
Look at Coach Bird. Coach Bird. If I didn't tell you, Coach Bird, would you know?
Yeah, he looks like there's a lot of dudish in there, man.
I see it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of
so let me ask you this. So you out one night, Coach Bird and Art Payne, y'all having a drink, y'all a little tipsy. You gonna be able to tell that's a nigga in the club.
Listen, man. Listen. I'm looking at this kind of picture, right? At some point, I'm gonna have to be able to say, if in a nightclub, it's night, it's dark, and all that. But if I got a picture with some light on this thing, I'm looking at the lips and the head, the face structure. I feel dudish.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you walking down the road I was trying to lead you down. Now, how many women? Hold on. Now, how many real women who are biological women look like this every weekend?
Yeah, there's probably a lot. But the question I wanted to ask, though, the more pertinent question, other than that, is how could she be such an advocate? And I probably know the answer because sometimes you lose sight of what you should be minding. For her son to turn out this way, if she's such an advocate against things like that. It was
rebellion, probably, because she'd be on their ass. She'd be on their ass.
Or she was absentee, being on the crusade.
Yeah. She was out doing her career, and she left them.
Yep.
With one of them little weird ass family members.
Yep. You're right.
That's my assumption.
That's not against the woman either. That's also for the man who works a lot.
Yes.
You know, you'll lose over the years, especially the formative years of your kids. Even if you're doing a good thing by providing for the family, if you don't put your imprint enough against the world out there, teaching them all kinds of bullshit, you could be surprised too. You know what I'm saying?
People laugh at me, they can mock me. I don't care. I still say, go back to the beginning. Whenever I'm having a moment, I'm going back to Genesis. and I go and read word by word and remember all the things why they are that way. And hopefully my children will continue to do the same thing, because I mean, this world I get it. I know who it belongs to. I know this isn't our home. I know it's not going to get better. Okay, there's no undoing it. That beast ain't going to unbeast itself until that day comes. So at best, I can instill some principles, godly attributes in my children to know, hey, you start feeling away, getting confused, go to that book. Go to it to help guide you when I'm not there, because I won't always be there. I might be wherever. Open it up. You know this prayer to say. You know how to call for help. You will not have to be lost. God is not the author of confusion. So if you are experiencing any type of confusion going on, that ain't God. Not the shepherd we follow. That's the other one playing with you. So you need to, those are the tools that I found to be quite effective. And people will laugh and might actually go again about yeah, because it works. It's effective. Okay. It doesn't, if I'm confused about something, I just go back to okay, well, let me see what I was told. Let me follow the instruction manual to the best of my ability. At the very least, I'm not going to end up all like a hot mess in fire and brimstone. I mean, come on. So it is infallible. That word it's infallible, and I'm going to go back to that. And because you can't be there all the time, there's going to be peer pressure, there's going to be influence. But all that aside, come on, you guys, there's not that much pressure to where your child. I was pressured into being Mama Jane. Like, no, that's something else. That is a different entity. That is a different spirit. That is not a normal peer pressure type of thing. You know, somebody trying to get you to smoke a little joint, that might be peer pressure. But somebody trying to get your son to wear skirts and panty, like that's something else going on there. That's past. That is deviancy.
That's true.
That is deviancy, and it should be treated as such. Deviancy does not get the same pass of let's come and talk about it. No, you got to handle deviancy a type of way. You got to start binding things and actually using the very tools that we were given to fight these type of things. You can't be playing with these things. I'm not playing with it. You're not coming in here. Don't make it even up to the doorstep. Okay, leave that out there in the streets. I don't play with certain things, so you have to treat it as what it is. If you don't, it will find a way to find a crack and get in, and then now you're going to wonder what happened. Well, warning comes before destruction. You can't be ignoring the warning. Okay.
Can I ask you a question? You said you have kids, right? Are they young teenagers or older, young adults?
The boys are older. The daughter's still a teenager. The boys
How old is she? How old is your daughter?
She's turning 16.
Okay, so let me ask you this. In reference to what you're saying, right? Does she have quite a bit of friends that like she hang with or come out with, go out with? Or,
yes. Not quite a bit. A select group that
so
a select group that was handpicked. They all on the same type of time, and me and the mothers, we on the same type of time. And that's how our group works.
So do y'all give them same messages that you speaking on YouTube to adults?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So have you ever thought about expanding that message to girls her age, maybe 14 through 17, 18?
We're trying. Yeah, we find a way.
It's a lot of money out there. It's a lot of money out there if you can get you about 25 girls and y'all build from that. Give them some of those sorority values and self-love things that those younger women need to hear, because we don't want these young women to live the lives of these 25 to 45-year-olds today.
Right. I'm going to be honest with you. The way that works is we can't, with them still being minors, unfortunately, some people are, like I tell my daughter, I said, you just have to try to reach back and pull some through that you can, but their mothers are defiant. Their mothers want to play different rules. Their mothers, if we look on their Instagram and they mamas on there doing all this and no, their daughter can't come around. See, the mothers exclude their own, they cause their daughters to be excluded from certain things and certain groups because of their behavior. Like, no ma'am, that's too much now. We kid, you want to have a little fun, but we notice this type of drug paraphernalia, this, we also talk and we know that you're doing it. Like, and if your daughter, you push some of that on her, it excludes their child. Like, that's to be that selfish with your lifestyle, to not realize it's going to count your child out of things that they should get a chance to be in. But sorry, to protect the better whole, we have to close the gates, you guys. I'm sorry, the gatekeeping is the gatekeepers are holding the gate, because just saying everybody gets a fair, no, we've seen what happens when somebody slid into a group. That group that person slid, it is a mess. It's all type of stuff going on over there. Fornication party, things I ain't even speak on, but those mothers and those girls' problems. Our girls and our group, we're not socializing with them because we're not going to play with certain things, and we have to stand firm. We don't care if that other mother doesn't like it. What you gonna do? Take us to court because you didn't get a birthday a party invitation, or we're not letting you go to the movies with them? You can't sue us for not being your friend. There's no law that says I gotta be your friend. There's no law that says my daughter gotta fraternize with your pretend daughter. That's not in the law. There are things that they playing with, but we done tested the waters and found ourselves to be victorious. We're not budging. They're not invited. They're not coming. They cannot force themselves into our circle, and we just have to hold the gate. The gatekeepers got to keep at all costs and not budge. And we are doing a pretty good job. And yes, there are some girls. Sorry, we can't. I mean, look at your mammy. How she mammy off the chain. We just can't do anything with you. And at best, we can hope and pray that young lady, when she reaches an age of 18 or whatever, and she's able to separate from that household, she can come to us and say, help me. I don't want this I don't want that to be my life. And then when they're of age, we can take them under our umbrella. But long as they're still minors, we can't. Some of it is like they got to look through the blinds and see the girls who are winning, who are choosing abstinence, who are in our virgin community. Because virgins are we bringing the virgins are in style now. They can laugh all they want to on this internet and do all this hoism, but virgins are in style. The virgins will not be dismissed anymore and made fun of because they chose not to participate in sexual immorality and fornication in their younger years. They're going to wait it out, and we're going to uplift these girls and let them know they are the prize, because it is a beautiful thing to hold on to it. And for those of us that didn't get that gift and didn't know, or it was taken from us, it's our job to let the ones come up and say, girl, do you know what you have? Keep it. At all costs, keep it protected. If you don't, never got to give it up. You are winning, and this is the only way you're going to make it, because some of us we are open to say, honey, we tried all those other ways, and we ended up flat on our face. You stay as you are. Don't turn that water fountain on. And we have these intimate conversations, and we spread it the best we can. And not most, but the group that has it can hold on, and they understand too. If anybody start bringing something in, or who keep playing that goddamn Cardi B like that, know every lyric, we know that one. And it just slowly, they kind of weed themselves out. Does that make sense? Because usually, and I'll say this, the ones who start to be promiscuous or engaged, they kind of weed themselves out anyway, because they want to talk about sex. And the girl, the virgins, they don't want, they're like, ew, they really are like, what are you, ew, they don't want to be a friend anymore. And so that's what we're doing right now, uplifting the virgin community and understanding that they have something very precious, and it's a beautiful thing, and that they're not going to be made fun of, mocked, or dismissed because they don't want to be low hoes. So that's what we'll be doing over this way. So
all right, clip that. Arpain.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic. Arpain, I'm gonna ask something, because Arpain said something the other night that I can tag on to what she just said. Arpain said the most trauma that Black women have experienced came from the head of a penis.
For women.
Oh, well, most women came from the head of a penis. And so when you uplifting those girls who are virgins, because think about it, some people out here, think about this, they have made it, they've normalized it, where being a virgin, like you said, being a virgin is not what it is, because I've heard this my whole life. Well, oh, men want a damn virgin. Well, so, but men want a woman with experience. They don't want no woman that ain't never had no penis before. They need a woman that can come in and throw that thing back because somebody done broke her in, like a pair of shoes. And I think so. You, the woman on the panel, what are your thoughts when you hear people say that women should be broke in, they shouldn't be virgins, and they should be, experienced when they meet a man?
Yeah, they did that to us. I'm Generation X. I'm older, and they did that to us. Okay, and it was horrible experiences, devastating. We want our shit back. Okay, if we could go back in time, if we knew then what we knew later, oh my God, why did that should have never happened? And because we failed and didn't know, weren't taught like that, we're able to give that to the new ones. Because for us, I mean, we've produced children, and we're able to tell them, don't believe that lie. They're gonna try this. You are winning. You are in favor. You run in the world. We have to like really let them understand that it's serious, and we have to use our own example. We have to let them know I didn't follow that way, and things didn't go so well. Trouble came a knocking. Trouble came, and if we could go back, we would do things totally different. But we can't go back, but we can go forward. So that's what we have to do with that.
Oh, Jesus. Listen, brother, I'm Gen X too, right? And I'm probably older now, right? It was totally reversed in the Gen X girls that I experienced. Most of them were a little bit more promiscuous, even if they weren't even having sex. A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? And we were all teenagers living in the same pattern. I remember, of course, there was the little older dude that got a younger chick or whatever, but they had too much going on in their house, and a lot of those girls and little boys got lost out. The boys sometimes ended up being the girl. The girl was a little more promiscuous, you know what I'm saying? But we were young teenagers being promiscuous with each other. It wasn't a lot of that. We was all out there. Our parents gave us freedom to run around. I had 5 sisters in the house. The one thing that I believe saved my sisters compared to a lot of other teenagers around the country, my father was in the house. He wasn't having that shit. A lot of my friends from whatever side of town that had single parents, we was wilding outside. We was running around. A lot of people, the teenage pregnancy rate started growing up. And y'all know I talk about my favorite era, right? That's when the motherhood shifted in a sense. That's when it shifted. Because Gen X, we was having children still going outside. And a lot of our children got caught up in the chaos because we was leaving them with mama, because mama, you know what I'm saying, we still want to have our fun. And I can understand what she's saying, but now and that's why I asked you that question, because it's so many young women who still are virgins, regardless of their mama's behavior, right? And that's all I'm saying, because they need it. And sisters like you who had that no nonsense, but you're gonna do it the right way. I'm not saying even if you ain't got it, they need to hear that voice sometime, just to say, yeah, you still got it. You can still do it.
And I know celebrated.
I know the sororities. I got y'all little, y'all bougie like that sometimes, but that's still a good thing though. That's still a good thing. I'll try to get everybody to help the baby.
I know, but as women, and I'll probably get stoned again for attempted stoning. Instead, they trying to attempt a stoning a girl. But women need to put down their goddamn whole card. Okay, it's time to grow up and sacrifice your flesh, the desires for your children, the betterment of them. Yes, I said it. That means you shouldn't be letting men up in your house. You shouldn't be laying up with them. Your door should not be a revolving bedroom door. My children, they can say a lot about me, but they're never going to be able to say, I woke up and mom, that somebody else. No. Like we bringing shame back in style. I don't know when shame went out of style, when in discretion, but we're bringing it back in style where, you know, whatever you do, you ain't just gonna be laying up in beds, men coming in and out, and people look the other way like it's nothing. No, you getting the eye looked at you. You gonna feel a certain type of way when no, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Because somewhere shame went out the door and nobody felt ashamed anymore. Like women were just off the chain. They didn't if they got caught in the act, it was just like, oh well, and all this footage and tapes of people getting caught doing things, like ain't no shame anymore. I mean, you know, yeah, I done cut several women out of my life as soon as she said, girl, I saw my daughter on TikTok. She got a tape out. Wait, what? She 13. Click, block, no longer communicate. Because I'm not bringing that over. That's not my problem. How did that happen? It didn't happen overnight. Your daughter did that. Did not happen overnight. And that same mother, I guess, like mother like daughter doesn't fall far from the tree. You guys, I know there are exceptions. Just like fathers, I know there are going to be exceptions. But like mother like daughter, it's more of us like that than probably for you guys. If I'm a whole, my daughter, I'm raising one too. So it is empirical, and I have to maintain my integrity and what I allowed to go on in my life sexually, because if I'm going to be passing that spirit and that same energy on to her. She's watching every little thing I do. Those boys too, but it started the girls, you know, yeah, you're going to have to put a little more, you're going to have to put some effort and sacrifice of your own desires. And I don't see why how is that so hard? How is it so hard for a woman to say, you know, I'm going to give up these ways. They're not really benefiting me anyway. I'm going to give this up and see if it produces some good fruit for my child, because I don't want them to think this is okay, because it's not. How hard is that to do? I find it quite beneficial when I look and see, okay, it's a good sacrifice there. You know, I don't understand what women would be so selfish.
I do agree. I think women who are more chaste or have more clear heads. Here's another thing. I think men, as men, kind of a little bit different than what BMU said. Most men want their women to be somewhat virtuous. The problem is, even back when I got married, most men stopped looking for virgins because they thought it was hopeless, because, you know, people were out there. And, you know, but if you gave a man a choice, I think most men would rather have a woman who's never been with another guy. Now, women are not as restrictive, you know, but still, you know, I mean, like I said before to you guys, I mean, in my little sexual thing before I got married, I had one woman who was a virgin. I didn't know that until afterwards, right? Because we weren't running into virgins. And, you know, she was a nice girl too. We were just, we went together for a year, but we were in a place of transition. And the only feeling I had when she told me was I felt honored. I felt honored. I really did. I really liked her too, but, you know, we were just going in different directions.
Hey, boy, your wife right there, you better shut your ass up.
You know,
I'm just playing.
My wife was cool, man, you know. But anyhow, and that was years ago when she snagged me up, man. She cut me off from the world. I didn't have no other way. It was for 38 years. It's the only chick I know.
Right.
So anyway, other than that, so she don't care about none of that kind of stuff. The only one thing I was going to say, and I'm going to land it here, that was a nice girl that I had. But the one thing I know is that she's going to always remember me. Women always remember their first guy.
And that ain't always,
it could be a
positive thing, right?
So what?
That's not always, you know, that's mostly not a positive thing.
That's what I was going to say. I said it might not be positive, but
we don't want to remember. But yeah,
I'm not saying they think about them all the time, but they know that first encounter. And you know, I know my first encounter, so I don't know if it's just.
Yeah, I think it's different for y'all than us. And
no, not necessarily. What both of y'all saying is true. But what both of y'all saying is true, though. Yes, some women experience a positive encounter, and there are those that may have a negative encounter.
Do y'all want to find some data on how many women admit their first time experience?
Oh, I know.
Was bad.
Right.
A lot of women since Gen X. I'm gonna be real. A lot of women since Gen X has been having sex early. When you get a 14-year-olds having sex, we don't know what the hell we doing.
Coach, let me finish this thing, right? When after she was a little crying afterwards, right? And all I said to her was, "God damn, was I that bad?" I said, "Was it that bad?" She said, "No, it wasn't that." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" She said, "You really don't know." I said, "No, I really don't know." And then she told me. But but I hear what the sister's saying. I think the encounter for a lot of women is not a good
Most, if not almost all, with the few exceptions of those who waited until it was their husband. With the very few exceptions, just about everybody has a horrific story and cried in what did I do? It is not a pleasant start. So I'm like,
I hear you.
But the reason why, because again, a lot of women have been peer pressured into having sex. A lot of boys and men
they didn't want to do it in the first place, right?
But again, even boys are peer pressured into doing it. It goes both ways, especially when you I did this. You can look this up right now. By age 25, 95% of Americans have already had sex.
Yeah, but
95 by age. So that's everybody here on this planet by age 25. So meaning even young teenagers.
You're not trying to equate a woman's first time to a
No,
man.
her experience is her experience because some women have had
No,
positive
that's what I'm
experience.
asking you. You're
That's
not
what I'm
trying to
saying.
equate a
It's
woman's.
bad. It's bad. A woman
Okay,
getting
so let me say this real quick. So we're gonna end the show on that point because now that's gonna lead us into next week because we're definitely gonna do that next week. We're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about that next week, next Tuesday, Friday night, man. Barbershop, y'all make sure y'all come in for Barbershop. Tomorrow's the sports show. And if you didn't watch Mr. Payne's show on Monday, go back and watch his show on Monday. He did a great job on Monday as well, man. Miss Beachy, thank you for being here. Coach Ferg, thank you. Our Payne, thank you, man. This has been another episode of Flipping Tables, man. What is a woman? Can a man get pregnant? The questions that are breaking society.
Yeah,
Go
that's a
ask
woman
somebody
right there.
that right now and see what they say. You guys have a good night. And
Yeah,
we
we're gonna have. So what's the next one? But I'll see you later. Okay, I know you.